Assalamu alaikum my dear students, hope you are well by the grace of Almighty Allah. Welcome to NIBS Home School. This is Muhammad Emdadul Haque, Assistant Teacher of Mathematics, National Ideal English Version School, Day Shift. Dear students, today I am going to conduct a higher math class of class 9. Dear students, our today's topic is chapter 1, Proposition 9. In this class, we will solve Proposition 9. Okay, dear students, let us see what is Proposition 9. Proposition 9. For any finite set A and B, number of elements of A union B is equal to number of elements of A plus number of elements of B minus number of elements of A intersection B. It means that if A and B be two finite sets, then we need to prove the number of elements of A union B is equal to the number of elements of A, sum of the number of elements of A and number of elements of B, and we have to subtract the number of elements of A intersection B. Okay. Dear students, to prove this, we can consider A and B be two finite sets. Dear students, as A and B be finite sets, A and B be two finite sets, it means that we can determine the number of elements of A and B by counting. Okay, so if we consider A is a set, suppose A equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and B equal to 4, 5, 6, 7, then we can write here number of elements of A. We can denote this by NA. NA means number of elements of A. As this is finite, it means we can count the number of elements here. How many elements here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 elements. So NA will be 5. Number of elements of set A is 5. And number of elements of set B is, we can count 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 elements in set B. Okay. If we consider these two sets, what will be A union B? The set A union B will be, we have to take all the elements from 1 to 7. It means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can say number A intersection B now. What is the intersection B? 4, 5 is common here, so we can write here 4, 5. Now number of elements of A union B. Here this one will be, how many elements here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 elements. Number of elements of A intersection B will be 1, 2. 2 elements here. So we need to prove, what we need to prove? Number of elements of A. Number of elements of A union B. Number of elements of A union B, that is 7. Now in the right side, if you see here, number of elements of A plus number of elements of B, number of elements of A plus number of elements of B minus number of elements of A intersection B. So we can write here number of elements of A means 5 plus number of elements of B means 4 and minus number of elements of A intersection B means 2. So calculate here, 5 and 4 is 9 minus 2 means 7. So we can say the number of elements of A union B is 7 here, and sum of these two and then subtract this number of elements of A intersection B, that will be equal. That is also 7. So we can say number of elements of A union B is equal to number of elements of A plus number of elements of B minus number of elements of A intersection B. I have shown just using an example, but when the example is not given, it means when the set A and B are not given, then how can we prove? To prove this, we can apply some technique, we can use a Venn diagram. We can use a Venn diagram. Dear students, I have shown this by using example. You will not show this example. You have to do the solution. Which one I will do here, as the set A and B are not given. Elements of A and B are not given. So when you will solve, you have to follow this solution. I am showing now. Solution. Solution. Dear students, I have drawn a Venn diagram here. I have drawn a Venn diagram here. This is a rectangle. This rectangle represents a universal set U, and inside the rectangle I have drawn two circles A and B. A represents a set A and circle B represents another set B. Okay, from this figure what can we get? From this figure, if we consider here only this portion, if we consider this portion, means here just I have taken the set A, only this one which is not common with B. It means that if we delete B from A, we will get only this portion. So we have to write this portion means A delete B, A delete B, A delete B, and this portion is A intersection B, A intersection B. This portion is A intersection B, and this portion, what is this portion? This portion means only this portion. This portion means if we delete set A from B, so delete A from B, it means B delete A, B delete A. So these three sets are disjoint here. So we can say from the Venn diagram, we can write A delete B, A intersection B, and B delete A are three disjoint sets. From the following Venn diagram, we get A delete B, A intersection B, and B delete A are disjoint sets to each other. As these three sets are disjoint, now we can present set A. So what is set A here? Set A in this figure. Now see, here is set A. Set A means this total A. So this portion is A delete B and this portion is A intersection B. If we take together, if we join these two disjoint set, then we will get set A. So we can write here set A means set A delete B union A intersection B. Now we can write and set B. What is set B? Set B is here this portion, and we have to take union of A intersection B with B delete A to get total B. So we can write here B delete A union A intersection B. So we have determined set A and B here. Now what will be the set, total set A union B, A and B, union of A and B? So we can write here, therefore A union B, as these three sets are disjoint, so we can write here A union B means these three sets, A delete B, A intersection B and B intersection A, union of these three sets. So we can write here A delete B union A intersection B, and then we have to write union B intersection B delete A. From the figure we can write this. Okay dear students, as I know this, so we can determine now number of elements of set A, number of elements of set B and number of elements of set C. Not C, A union B. So we can write here number of elements of set A. What will be the number of elements of set A here? So we have to look at the set A delete B, number of elements of A delete B, as here is union. So we have to add the number of elements of another set A intersection B. Okay, and we can determine number of elements of set B. What will be number of elements of B? Number of elements of B delete A, as here is union, so we have to use the sign sum. Dear students, you need to remember that when you will write the number of elements, then you have to use the addition sign if you see the union. If the sign is union, then you have to use the addition sign. Then what is the number of elements of A union B? This one I can give equation 1, this is equation 2, and now we can write here, and number of elements of A union B, that will be number of elements of A delete B, as here is union we have to write plus, number of elements of A intersection B, as here is union we have to use plus, and number of elements of B delete A, this is equation 3. Okay, now see, dear students, to get this one, number of elements of A union B, to get what we need here number of elements of A delete B and number of elements of B delete A. If we can put the value of these two in equation 3, we will get the value of number of elements of A union B. So from equation 1 and from 2, we will get A delete B and B delete A. So we can write here from equation 1. From the equation 1, we get, from this we can determine the number of elements of A delete B. So we have to write this number of elements of A intersection B. If I take in the left side, that will be number of elements of A, number of elements of A minus number of elements of A intersection B. Similarly, we can determine the value of number of elements of B delete A. So we can write from equation 2, we get from the equation 2, from the equation 2 we can write number of elements of B delete A, So this will be number of elements of B minus number of elements of A intersection B. We can get from equation 2. We are determining the value of this one and this one to put in equation 3. Now if we put the value of number of elements of A delete B and number of elements of B delete A in equation 3, what will we get? So we can write from 3 we get, from 3 we get number of elements of A union B. So we can put the value here. Number of elements of A delete B means here is given number of elements of A minus number of elements of A intersection B. Here is plus number of elements of A intersection B, and then here is plus again. B delete A means I have determined here B delete A, number of elements of B minus number of elements of A intersection B. Okay, dear students, so we can show here number of elements of A intersection B is positive here, number of elements of A intersection B is negative here and positive here. So these two vanishes each other. So what is remaining here? We can write here, therefore number of elements of A union B, that is equal to number of elements of A plus this one remaining number of elements of B minus this one remaining number of elements of A intersection B. Okay, dear students, so now see what we need to prove. We need to prove that number of elements of A union B is equal to number of elements of A plus number of elements of B minus number of elements of A intersection B. So I have proved here number of elements of A union B is equal to number of elements of A plus number of elements of B minus number of elements of A intersection B. So proof is done. Okay, dear students, I hope you have understood our today's lecture. Do this as your homework and submit your homework on next Sunday. Keep practicing at home. Abide by, sorry boys, you have to submit your homework on Saturday, not Sunday, Saturday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Okay, dear students, so keep practicing at home, abide by your parents, stay home, stay safe, see you again, till then, Assalamu